Okay, we're picking up part 4. We're on this one, behavioral interview questions.
Another type of job interview question you might be asked is what's called behavioral questions. They're designed to show how you would act in certain situations. For example, what do you do to de-stress? Describe what you would classify as a crisis. If you were angry about a situation or decision at work, how would you act? Let's revisit our interview scene to see how the candidate handles one of these behavioral questions.
How do you handle pressure?
Oh, well, I work really well under pressure. I guess it just doesn't get to me.
While this may seem like a good answer, it's not enough. The employer wants more. It's also too generic with no evidence to support it. Watch how this candidate gives an example to substantiate her claim.
I work really well under pressure. Recently, my supervisor was out sick the day before a big deadline. He asked me to take the lead, which I'd never done before. I looked at the task, held a meeting with our team, assigned team members to specific tasks, and we were able to have the project completed and ready for the next morning.
Much better. The candidate not only addressed her ability to handle pressure, but also other desirable qualities, such as the ability to lead a team and see a project through to completion. Notice how the answer is complete but succinct and leaves room for follow-up. It provides evidence but is not overly detailed. An impressed interviewer may want to know more. What was the project? How big is the team? At that point, you're not just answering questions, you're having a conversation about your abilities.
Okay, this is where you want to get to with an interviewer. That's the ideal. So you guys need to think of a time or an experience that you had where you demonstrated your abilities and be prepared to tell kind of a little mini story about your accomplishments. Okay, next section.
Behavioral and personal questions may seem like the most difficult ones you'll face, but the next type of category can be tough too. They're simply general questions like, why should I hire you? Why have you applied for this position? What are your short-term and long-term goals? Let's see how our candidate handles one of these types of questions.
What do you know about our company?
Obviously, I know you're a marketing firm. I was hoping to learn more about it here today.
Despite saying he wants to learn more, the answer shows that the candidate has little interest in the company. If you're going to apply for a job, you should be doing so because you have a real interest in the company and the position. And no matter how interested you think you are, you have to prove it. You can demonstrate true interest by doing your research first. Take a look at this clip. It shows a more prepared candidate.
What do you know about our company?
I know that your company is gaining market share in this industry. I've also read about a proposed merger, and I would really like to be part of a growing company.
While it's relatively easy for you to learn about a company, social media makes it easy for prospective employers to learn about you. In fact, research shows that a significant amount of people may not even get called in for an interview because of the personal trail of information they leave on social networking sites. And if you do get called in, remember that what you post on social media sites like Facebook or Twitter could come up in the job interview.
I would definitely urge people to be careful about what they post on social media websites. Employers are looking at these things nowadays.
You don't want to cost yourself a job over things that you've put out there on social media. Key point number one is that there's no expectation of privacy. If you've put it out there, someone can find it. So as you begin to interview for jobs, it's important to go back and clean up your profiles on those social media sites.
My advice about social media is never put anything on Facebook, on Twitter, on any kind of social media account that you have that you wouldn't want your grandmother to see.
You can also use social media to your advantage by making sure you position yourself in a very respectful way and such that The photos that you have, maybe you helping out at a nonprofit organization, or have things there that speak favorably to the professional world if you're going to be in that environment.
Let's revisit.
This one is funny because teenagers always put, pictures of me volunteering, which is great. But I mean, let's face it, how many pictures of that do we have? And that's kind of like weird, but okay. So think of the positive, healthy activities that you guys do. You're involved in stuff, I hope. And so pictures that you want to put on your social media are stuff like you doing your sports activities, or you involved in band, or you with your choir performance, or you pictures when you went to the dojo, or pictures with your family. Healthy, positive, constructive activities that show that you're a person that gets out and does healthy, positive things. What you don't want to put out there is, you guys all hanging out at the park skateboarding. That's not what employers are really looking for. So, yeah, pictures of positive stuff.
Interview scenes. This time we'll play 2 responses back to back. We'll call them option A and option B. You decide which one is better and why. Then we'll review.
Why do you want to leave your current position?
It's a really great place to work. The people are so nice and the company has a great reputation. The reason I'm looking elsewhere is because I'm ready to take on more responsibility and I've reached my potential at my current place of employment.
Why do you want to leave your current job?
I don't see eye to eye with my boss. He's condescending and his expectations are unreasonable. I really don't like working for him. And I'm not alone. There's been a great deal of turnover in the company.
Which answer do you think was better? If you picked option A, you're right. It's tempting to give negative information, like we heard in option B, partly because of how the question is posed. Why do you want to leave your current position? But stay positive with your answer. You should never speak negatively about your current employer, no matter how frustrated you are. The interviewer might think you would say bad things about him or his company if given the opportunity. So no matter what, stay positive.
So here's my Tershman tip for you. This is after number 31. So even if your job was stupid and you hated it and your boss was a total jerk, you want to make the reason for you leaving about your growth. Not about the boss, not about the job. You want it to be about how you're trying to improve yourself, because they don't want to hear that you had negative feelings. They just don't want to hear it. It bodes very badly for you. So
kind of like this scenario is, you can say what you want about your own kids, but don't let anybody else talk about them. It's kind of that philosophy, I think, with business owners, that we don't want the negative out there. And just because somebody didn't like their job, you shouldn't blame it on the company. Just assume the responsibility, shows you're the bigger person.
There are ways to present that you've had conflicts with a current employer without making it sound like everything this person did was evil and I just had a terrible experience. Remain positive. Describe how you dealt with the conflict, if there was any, and describe how you tried to overcome it.